Hello, how are you today? Marshall McLuhan opened The Medium is the Massage with a similar sentiment. Good morning. Whereas he implied that the day was already off to a good start, I am asking you to wonder what it is to be feeling good or not so good, specifically in terms of your relationship with technology in the environment of screen-based media. Everything we do as designers has to do with technology environments, including the interactions of people within them. The history of graphic design is peppered with the potential of emerging technologies, and the advances in screen-based media are ubiquitous among them. One of the challenges central to success in adjusting to and integrating screen-based media in art, design, education, our lives, is understanding the benefits, limitations, and effects. I don't pretend to know the answers, but questions do arise. For instance, what does the media do for us? Certainly it makes our lives easier in some ways and connects us in ways that were earlier impossible, but does it make us happier? Does it have a role to play in a larger purpose in life? These are important questions to ask ourselves, and a good place to begin looking for answers is through the lens of philosophy and media theory. To an unsettling degree, our behaviors are modeled as a consequence of our experiences with digital media. Knowledge and the resulting awareness is at the heart of philosophy and media theory. So, let's begin with a framework upon which to construct an exploration of meaning. McLuhan may be artfully defining philosophy as the proposition that there is absolutely no inevitability as long as there is a willingness to contemplate what is happening. The founder of cultural studies and a contemporary of McLuhan, Raymond Williams, defined philosophy and its counterpart, theory, respectively as the love of wisdom, understood as the study and knowledge of things and their causes, and as an active interrelation between explanation and things happening or made to happen in controlled conditions. Both make assumptions based on observation, but whereas philosophy is concerned with knowledge and causation, theory tends to inform practice. John Cage, in what may reasonably be translated as art's benefit to people interacting with mobile media, insisted that theater, the interaction, takes place all the time, wherever one is, and art, the design of the media, simply facilitates persuading one in the case. The art, beautifully, aesthetically, simply, and transparently, does the seemingly impossible. It simultaneously separates us from the effect of the medium and endears us to the artifact. John Maeda suggests that as media have grown in complexity and now converged, technology persuaded by art is increasingly taking the form of simplicity, a simplicity that has become intuitive, gestural, and sexy. Today we are engaging with hyper-complex systems daily, hourly, by the minute, with little knowledge of the facilitation. In order for us to more intuitively engage with the screen, interfaces have simplified the means of interaction so that the content is much more obvious than the medium. This is what McLuhan referred to in what's become his cultural mantra, the medium is the message. In it, McLuhan both extols the benefits and cautions as well the quagmires inherent in digital media. He recognized new media's determining effect on behavior, but he also cautioned people to question the digital authority and to judge the effects of the technology on them. The process of expressing new media continues to be an evolutionary progression rather than a revolutionary one. In understanding media, McLuhan examines and strives to make readers aware of the implications of this digitally facilitated media evolution. An evolution which he insists is in turn facilitating the extension of human consciousness. The philosopher in McLuhan is apparent in his concept of the global village, which he presents as a cultural leap forward, especially in terms of social and personal consciousness. The proliferation of digital media, which is broadcast and accessed globally, has returned to public access information, reestablishing and amplifying what he termed the acoustical space in culture. As in pre-literate societies, we now gather around a single storyteller and experience surround sound together. In a real sense, many in the world have become closer together, while a negative consequence of the technology is that the togetherness is an illusion as we spend time chatting, texting, viewing, posting, and FaceTiming alone, focused on the artifact. This is the problem Meredith Davis presents as complexity. a problem defined as one where we have produced and embraced media which make aspects of our lives easier, but which tend to isolate us from other social and environmental aspects of our lives. I believe we must continue asking questions such as, what is the quality of our digital engagement and sharing of information? Is it quantifiably better than face-to-face conversation, or a personal trip to do research, or a handwritten letter to be dropped off at the post office? These are personal questions, but they also have larger cultural implications on, for instance, the pace of life and social cue recognition. Here's what the dynamic screen is and is not. The screen is a window of finite dimensions positioned within the personal space of a user. It presents the illusion, albeit a very persistent one, of movement and interactivity with reality. The window directs the user's attention on the virtual space and away from the physical space outside it. Two spaces, two separate scales. Lev Minovich writes, "The screen's image strives for complete illusion and visual plentitude, while the viewer is asked to suspend disbelief and to identify with the image. The screen is not neutral and does not insist on a stationary user. It does demand, however, increasing gestural interaction." During the 1960s and 70s, video art was a response to television's monologue. Nam June Paik was preaching to the McLuhan Choir when he observed that TV was a 1970s environment, and he turned television into sculptural video installations. Art serves a kind of commercial break from the world, providing space to reflect on the medium. In this way, art can be a gift to culture. Thank you, Lewis Hyde. To paraphrase Scott McCloud, author of Understanding Comics, this new vision of screen-based media, beyond data retrieval and communication, will continue to provide a window through which people escape the world around them. This window will provide a means for people to re-enter the world we live in and to see its shape. McLuhan makes a telling observation regarding the codependence between the medium and the message. On one hand, we are being sold something, and on the other, we're witnessing the future of prime time and the techniques explored and refined in commercial advertising. Most often, the first few seconds, he says, sandwiched between the hours of viewing, the commercials, reflect a truer understanding of the medium. Perhaps it is here, in those brief in-betweens, that philosophy and media theory can be artistically brought before the audience. If not here, then out in the streets around the head-bent screen media user. Another possibility is that the medium will collide with augmented reality and bring the user back out into the world, interacting through the screen with both the physical and virtual environments. This seems a rich and natural path to follow, considering how embedded the screen has been in society over the centuries. It may be that the screen moves to other planes and fabrics in the built environment. Corning, for instance, has been developing applications for its smart glass, and Adam Greenfield anticipates everywhere technology in the form of ubiquitous computing. Gesture and wearables such as Google Glass will trump previous modes of human-computer interaction, and conscious engagement with the information will fade further into the background. In this scenario, the natural behavior of the person will determine the behavior of the interface, a McLuhan-esque reversal to a prior mode. I use screen-based media every day, and I remember when none of it existed. Did any of us have problems negotiating our world? No more than now, I suspect. I don't know what's coming next. Nobody does. But that doesn't also mean that whatever is next is inevitable. We choose to design, develop, and buy dynamic technology, and we still, at least in part, decide when to use it. We're not stuck with the future. We play a part in its formation. So how do we get there? Philosophical questioning and theory-based practice regarding our relationships with digital media will help us balance our virtual relationships with our physical ones. It seems that the screen will become an increasingly flexible artifact, bending to the will, philosophical or otherwise, of people, and its use becoming more than ever socially determined. I thought a good way to confront questions of effect and purpose regarding our relationships with screen-based technology would be through storytelling. The handheld, page-turning book presents a contrast to electronic, screen-based media. It is actually no more real than the screen, of course, but it feels more real. Does that make sense? I created an alternate universe inhabited by a man who asked himself, what is the meaning of his life? That is a very big question. It is also one of the most common and basic of human questions. Technology, of course, is not the meaning of life, but it does influence our modern world. Everything we do, it seems, is touched by technology. The hero of my story gets touched as well by technology, a tiny TV into which he believes he finds answers to his question. The story is filled with metaphor and borrowed elements. I invite you to experience the book. Thank you.